Guys, welcome back to another week of Autastic, your comedian's guide to autism. I'm your host. My name is Kirk Smith, and my co-host and buddy
Graham K. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another sweet episode of the Comedian's Guide to Autism. That is Kirk Smith. I'm Graham K. We have two lovely family members with autism. Kirk has an autistic son. I got an autistic bro. And you just visited him, didn't you?
I did. I had a lovely time with Pete, and actually, full disclosure, I owe him a phone call. I was checking into a flight, or I was somewhere everything's going wrong. I landed somewhere. The visa's not quite correct, and my phone rings. I look down. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, has saved under my phone.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm like, I had to just let it ring, and I didn't think he'd understand if I picked up and explained.
Yeah.
And I owe him a text message. How is speaking of your autistic brother? You're doing a show about him.
I'm doing Pete and Me, a non-depressing look at autism and family, my solo comedy show in Edinburgh, Scotland for 1 month. It is the largest fringe festival in the world, oddly enough. And so if you're going to do like a one-person themed show about something specific, not necessarily just like a regular stand-up show where it's just random jokes for an hour, this is, it has to be like theme-based, a little more of a through line, and they call that a solo show. And it's the kind of thing that doesn't really always work in comedy clubs. It mainly works in, little black box theaters and stuff, just because the context is different. So you can't, if you're just going to a comedy club to see comedy and you don't know who the act is, and then it's just an hour of a middle-aged man talking about his autistic brother and then crying in the middle, you're going to have a bad review. You're going to say, I'm never going to come back. Who is that guy? But if you go to see a theater show, you do a little research, you find out who it is, and you know what it is. So that's why it belongs in theaters. That's why I'm here. And the show's been going pretty well. It's the beginning of the fest. We're still building momentum. Crowds are building. It's still I believe the best thing I've ever done. People leave the show and they shake my hand and they hug me and they say, thank you for doing that. Some of the door people were saying that, it was the greatest thing they've ever seen, literally. And so that really makes me feel good. Yesterday I had an autistic person sitting in the front row with their family. He's doing magic. He's got a magic show here at the festival. He's obviously on the Asperger's side of things. And I have an act out where in the show, I pretend to be my brother, making people uncomfortable. And I usually go into the crowd and invade their personal space without touching them. And people, laugh and giggle and recoil a bit. And this guy did not budge. And I go, this guy's not fazed at all. And then I didn't push his personal space. I kind of backed up and got back on stage. And I was like, he is definitely someone who's come to see the show who has autism. And made sure I didn't comment that he wasn't laughing or moving for the remainder of the show. Just let him be. And it was a great show, though. His parents brought him. They loved it. And it's nice. It's going pretty well.
Sometimes there is an interesting thing about I'll do an autism joke. Most shows I do, especially if it's a long format, if I'm doing 40 minutes, I'll do half a dozen jokes at the end. And often someone who will say that with autism, by their own admission, they go, I have autism, they won't get those jokes, but it's often one of those things like you're so close to it, they don't,
Mm-hmm.
they don't see they don't see why it's a little unusual. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like they'll heckle you kind of thing, you mean? Or after?
No, but they just don't get that part of the show. They
Yeah.
don't understand, like, if I do a joke about, I have a couple lines where I go, oh, if I take my son to McDonald's and I'll keep an eye on him, he'll just help himself to people's food as we walk by. That's delicious. Let me have one of those. And, and the joke is, I was at McDonald's, and this lady's looking at me. I'm like, has she seen me before? Have she seen a show I've done or something? And I look over right between her 3 kids and my son just eating all their food.
Mm-hmm.
Told my daughter, like, you could learn something from him. That's a value meal or something like that. So you have a line about, but they don't get the, They'll be like, well, he was probably hungry. I'm like, that's true, but that doesn't in polite society doesn't allow you to just go pick whatever you want off their plate as you walk by.
Right. So. Yeah. It's like, that's not a thing you do, and.
But he's probably hungry. You're probably right. And that's why we're at McDonald's. We're in line.
Yeah. You shouldn't do that, by the way. This is a good opportunity for you to learn.
This might be a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
So it is funny how, like, some people in it don't get it. And, they don't see your point of view as much as maybe a parent might, or my parents might see your point of view, or your parents, or one of his teachers, or
Yeah. How is JJ? You were in Sweden.
I went over there. Yeah,
we've already talked about it. I remember, but
no, we haven't. Not on the podcast.
Oh. Okay.
No, we talked about it. We couldn't. We both been pretty busy, and you had to leave, and I'll give you an update on them. Yeah, but good. I had a mix-up with some travel, and so I had some extra dates that they changed some dates on a cruise for me, so I ended up having a few extra dates. So I ended up spending the full 8 days in Sweden, and it's the longest I've been there.
Yeah,
in a little while, because usually it's 7 days. Usually it's 7 days, 5 days. So like in and out. We had like an amazing time. First of all,
great.
Europe and Sweden is just, Sweden in the summer is just, that's the time to go, people. Mm-hmm. Versus, February. But we took a little a risk, and, we had budgeted a little bit for him to take a little vacation, and we were trying to figure out what to do. We talked about, I'm talking to his aides, and like he has like a social worker who, they're all kind of involved in his life. So we talked about maybe doing a cruise, because we've done that before. He likes the water. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking, it could be kind of fun. He used to really like to ride on the back of motorcycles. So we rented a motorcycle and did a little Swedish countryside tour. We probably rented it was probably too big. We rented a BMW 1200 SR, like a big, kind of like a CHP bike from California, Chips, kind of like one of those kind of cop bikes. Mm-hmm. But, we're combined 500 pounds, so it's like, you got to rent something kind of big. Mm-hmm. And we had a great time.
And you weren't nervous?
Down, we decided to I was a little nervous.
Like, I'm forgive me, when you said that to me the other day, I'm going to take him on a motorcycle, I was like, what? It seems crazy. It seems like...
Yeah, that's why I had to discuss it with his aides and everybody else, because, like, are you sure he could do that? But I remember when he was younger, I rode a motorcycle for about 10, 15 years, and he used to love it. And when we lived in New York, he would ride on the back, and he was, 14, but he was 200, not 200, but close. Mm. He wasn't 50 pounds.
But doesn't he have to lean and everything and all that?
Well, that's where it gets complicated. So it gets a little, that's where it gets a little hard. But we had the first trip we went down, we're going to go see he has a bunch of family on his mom's side in Edspin. It's about a 3 or 4 hour ride. Well, I checked the weather like 3 times. The weather changed. We got caught in the rain. So then we had to pull over, and the only thing I could find open, we were getting soaked, was a gas station was covered. So I parked in the thing. We got out. We go into the gas station, and then we're eating hot dogs in a gas station. Gas station hot dogs. Mm. And,
which I'm sure he loved.
He loved. In fairness, food in Sweden is just different. Even the terrible food is like pretty nutritious compared to like, gas station hot dogs at AM/PM. So, and then we I let him pick out his drink, and then I go to pay for it. He finishes his drink and my drink. Then I have to go buy another drink. I come back, my hot dog's gone. So I gotta go back. So then I gotta go. The mustard is.
But he was hungry.
He puts ketchup on his. I put mustard on mine. Yeah, but he's not missing any meals, so he can't be that hungry. We ate 2 hours before. You don't need that many hot dogs, but.
No, it was a callback for the McDonald's thing from before.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just comedy. We're comedians. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Man. Yeah, sorry. I missed that one.
No.
Too. My bad. Yeah, so then we had an argument about candy and ice cream, and then it finally stopped raining. Well, then we go to the next village. We're going through these little towns. Well, then one of the roads is dirt road, and it's muddy now because it's been raining. Well, that was a nightmare. I was like, I'm gonna drop this bike for sure.
Right.
We didn't. It was okay. Then wasn't nothing. We had 2 or 3 things, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm dead for sure. But we made it. We had one. You're not gonna believe this. On the way back, so it goes all great. We rode about 12 hours that day. Just because everything took forever. And I took a different way back to not ride on the freeway. And
you were on a freeway?
Yeah. No good. I mean, we're going hundreds of miles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, so then, so I'm sore. So the next morning, it's the last day of the bike. I got to return the bike, and it's a big bike, but we're both big men. We're both over 6 foot and over 200 pounds. So it's a tight fit on that bike. And also, I get on first, and then I hold on, okay, get on, and then he gets on, but he plops on. He doesn't gingerly he kind of puts his foot on the footrest, jumps up there, and puts his leg over, and bonk, drops down like he's falling into the bed. So I'm holding on so I don't drop this stupid thing. So it's stressful. So then the last day, I got to return this thing. It's time to return this thing. Well, I go to, he's keeping an eye on me the whole time. So he's keeping an eye on me. And then I go out to the front door. He runs in front of me, grabs his helmet, puts it on backwards, but he puts it on, puts his helmet on, and runs out there. And I was making him wear jeans. I rented real motorcycle jackets and jeans and just in case something happens. So he has his jeans. He's trying to put his jeans on. He has his helmet on backwards. He's ready to go.
Oh.
So I'm okay, we can go again. But I'm exhausted. 'Cause it's hard with him on the back.
Yeah.
So then we get down there. It's in town. So I go kind of he lives on an island. So we go around the island. The island's beautiful. You're going 30, 40 miles an hour, just tooling along. It's beautiful. Then I go into town. There's the driveway to get in the parking lot of the bike rental is really tight.
Yeah.
It's a U-turn, basically. And there's gravel. And it's a little wet. And he just leans in and dumps us.
Oh.
And at the beginning, the guy was I got the insurance. I'm what's the insurance? Well, the copay is $1,500. But if you drop, how much is it if I drop it? Because there's a chance I could drop it with this guy. And he goes, $500. And okay. So as soon as he leans in like that, I'm that's $500 for sure. For sure. And we're at the entrance, dude. I'm not exaggerating. At the entrance.
Oh my god.
And then he jumps up. We're going 1 mile an hour because it was a U-turn, and I had to slow. I slowed all the way down. And I don't know if you ride motorcycles, but the slower the harder. If you're going fast, you just lean. It's easy. When you're going 1 mile an hour, that's when they do the tests. They do these little cones, and you have to go 1 or 2 miles an hour, and you navigate around the cones. If you can do that slow, it's just hard with him on the back. And so then he jumps up, and he's like, "Oh, you okay?" He kind of knew he did that. He was but I didn't say anything. I didn't really feel bad. I was I'm okay. And neither of us not even our clothes were ripped or anything. We're going slow. I script my hands up, and then a Swedish guy stopped and helped me get the bike up. I couldn't get the bike up. My shoe fell off, and it's about 300 pounds, and it's gravel, so I couldn't get good leverage. And then we go in. It wasn't 500 pounds though. It was 700 pounds. It was $700.
Why 700?
I don't know. He's well, I think he was just doing a round number thing, but it was.
It was really scraped up.
No, it was 3 little. That's not true. One scrape about 6 inches long, and then Yeah, I guess it's great. But the thing is, they have to paint the whole fairing, so it's like, yeah, whatever. It's whatever. But it was really fun. But then, you know what we did? On the way out, he didn't want to leave, by the way. He wanted to, he loves that bike. They had these goofy three-wheelers called Can-Ams. I don't know if you've ever seen these, where it's 2 wheels in the front, 1 wheel in the back.
Slingshots, like if if you want to
called
annoy everybody and have a bunch of speakers.
No, not those.
2-seaters.
Not those.
Yeah.
2-seaters though, but not 2-seaters. It looks like a motorcycle, but it's got 3 wheels in the front. I'll send you a link. And I thought we'll do that next summer because you can't drop them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better.
And we had this problem where he kept trying to put his feet on my foot pegs because he's tall. I'm like, yeah, but I got to put my feet there. Where am I put my feet? So yeah, anyway.
You too. That's really cute though that he liked it.
Bro, he loved it. He loved it. And the next day when he kept trying to run out there and put his helmet on backwards, I'm like, he really wants to go. Because the thing is, if he doesn't want to go, you can't make him go. He plops down in this little chair and he won't leave. Oh, that was another thing. When he leaves the house, he has to have his little MP3 player with his videos. I'm like, you can't have your videos on the back of a motorcycle. You need to be holding on. And so he'd have his videos at all for like 10 hours that day. Because it was like 4 hours down and 6 hours back. And that's great. He loved it.
Yeah, it was good. Probably. I wonder if, because, it's like sensory. It's like the wind in his face is like stimming.
I don't know. He loved it though, bro. And even in the rain, he didn't complain. I was getting soaked. I was getting grumpy. He wasn't upset. It's raining. I pulled his little visor down to protect his face. And it's like, yeah.
Peter could care less about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we were wearing full gear too. It was like, I mean, you could get hurt, but also like, what are we holding out for the NBA? Like, neither of us are doing anything. So it's like, let's have fun.
Well, you're holding out to live your life, to not be dead, but
you got to take your shots, buddy. That's my opinion. You got to take your shots.
Okay.
Well,
not me.
One of the things I feel bad for him is he's got a very quiet life, and so
I know.
I wanted to, and the fact that I took him out the first day and he was so excited, I'm like, okay, well we got to figure this out. Or I could do next time is get a little scooter that I can hold up even if he jumps off. That was the problem. He's heavy. That bike was really heavy. I thought we'll get a heavy bike, has a big engine, so we can accelerate fast with 2 people. But in hindsight, the acceleration is not as important as trying to keep it upright with him being such a big fellow.
I think the one you can't dump is the way to go because he'll still have the wind in his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it have a seat? It
has full seats, and you can stretch your legs out straight. Because that's another thing. My knees are starting to lock up.
Like car seats, right?
Yeah, Google Can-Am, Camam, and it's like car seats. It's a Canadian company. It stands for Canadian American, I believe. And it's okay. I'll be honest. It's for old men, but the reality is, it's one old man and one disabled man. So yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. And we tested it out. We sat on it, and he really liked it. I'm like, all right, that's what we're gonna do next time. Yeah.
3-wheel vehicles.
Yeah, they're impossible to dump. It's so instead the old school is trike where it's 1 in the front, 2 in the back. These have 2 in the front, 1 wheel in the back. They're impossible to dump.
And are the seats side by side?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh yeah,
You're thinking of
I see it. Yeah. I see it. That's good. Yeah, that's way better. Oh, you should do this for sure. You should have done it. It's fine. Yeah.
I should have done it last time.
It's the same as a motorcycle seat, but a giant motorcycle seat. It's looks like one big car seat that would fit 2 people. It's like a giant.
We sat it and we both fit, and he's not like sitting on top of me because on the bike I kept having to push him back. Like you have to scoot back, bro.
Yeah.
You can't
I
can't carry like a piggyback ride.
He'd still be straddling you, but you'd have way more space.
And I'd have a little seat back for my lower back, too, which would be nice. Old man problems. Bro, but we had so much fun. And the way back, we went like a different way. Man, if you guys get a chance, Scandinavia in the summer is bananas.
That's great.
Actually, you know what? Very similar to northern Canada and Alaska.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's like cool,
the
man.
Same latitude as Anchorage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our plan for next year. I already looked into it. we're going to try to go down to, well, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but yeah, we had a great time.
Great. Well, should we read the article?
Yeah, should we do the article? You want to do it? You want me to do it?
You do it. You found it.
Up here. This is interesting to me. It's in Science Alert. Strange link between board games and autism may finally be explained. Anecdotal evidence suggests that those with autism may tend to enjoy board games more than most. Now, 2 studies identify some reasons why this may be the case. Teams behind the research from the University of Plymouth and Edge Hill University in the UK conducted 5 separate analyses to examine how popular board games are with people with autism and the autism spectrum disorder, and the kind of experiences they offer. Board games enthusiasts are more prevalent with those with ASD, and they found in a survey 1,600 players, 7% were autistic, although autistic people account for approximately 1% of the population as a whole. I don't know how that's possible. 1% of the population as a whole?
I don't know.
In further interviews with people with ASD, the researchers found that these games help relieve social anxiety, which is experienced at higher rates than those who have autism than in the general population. And there's a rigid structure to proceedings with less need to make small talk. That's hilarious. We know that the board games are a safe and valuable hobby to many people with autism, said psychologist Gray Atherton from the University of Plymouth. What this research establishes was why that's the case, and we really wanted to use the findings to conduct further work. The games played included Code Names, a team-based game involving words and clue-giving, Dixit, a clue-giving game involving pictures, and social description games such as One Night Ultimate Werewolf and Spyfall, where the idea is to try to conceal your identity from the other players.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pete might like that one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The rules and structure involved are both stimulating and comforting for the players, the authors report, based on interviews with hobbyists, board gamers with autism, hobbyist board gamers with the autism diagnosis. The research suggests it's more evidence of how people with autism immerse themselves in interests that provide a sense of achievement and predictability. The board games may represent an area of both challenge and strength for autistic individuals. The author writes in one published paper, the researchers also looked at a small group of autistic people as well as they played board games over a single session or years of play, discovering benefits of team building, independence, and confidence among players, as well as helping forge social relationships, something that can be difficult with people with ASD. Everyone with ASD is unique, and we want to ensure any interventions could be adapted as needed for those who might benefit. In the future, researchers might like to investigate in more detail the boost in well-being that board games can provide for those with autism. Their structure and predictability also help strengthen social bonds through well-defined frameworks, where they're using our research to support adapting existing games for people with autism to make their gameplay even more accessible and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a popular hobby, and we're pleased to be able to shed more light on its importance for so many people. What do you think? You got any board games that you think Pete would like?
Do I have any board game? No, Peter is not. I think this is like for more of like the Asperger's,
A little more advanced.
advanced style. Peter does not understand board games. I think Peter is capable of a lot of things. He could do like snakes and ladders. He can do. I think he has trouble with checkers. It'd be tough to teach him Dungeons and Dragons. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think he could do that. He can't play Monopoly. He doesn't understand that. He can't count. So it's hard to do board games when you can't count. You know, you can't really count past like 20. So it's I definitely, there's a comedian I know who's who I believe is Asperger's, and I just saw a post of them today, and they were saying that they're a dungeon master, and the whole time I was thinking of that person. So that's like a dungeon master, and it makes sense. It's just it's funny how all these movies and nerd tropes of the 80s were really kind of like Revenge of the Nerds is basically just truly like an ableist movie making fun of Asperger's people. You know, so they're all they love board games. I mean, all the tropes are true. It's just how funny and ignorant
They
people
love
were
technology.
back then. Technology,
yeah.
Because there's not that much social interaction. You know, there's not the same amount of social interaction. So, yeah, and it's a way to communicate with other people and enjoy other people's company with a strict barriers and boundaries and rules. So you're not out on a limb. I mean, I get anxiety, and it's like nice because you can play with it's like bowling with the guardrails on in terms of a social exchange. Right. Things are staying. There's always something to say, and if you're not saying anything, that's okay because we're playing the game. And I totally get that. And there's strategy. And if you are a neurodiverse person, you're probably honestly better at strategy and things like that because you're so focused. I'm a bird flies by. I forget if I'm the thimble or not. You know.
It's funny.
So.
Well, Grandma, where can they catch this show in Edinburgh this next 3 weeks?
I am going to be at the Gilded Balloon in Edinburgh, Scotland. Just Google Graham K. Edinburgh Fringe. I'll come up. I'm the first thing that comes up when you Google Graham K. Graham like the cracker, K-A-Y, Edinburgh Fringe. So if you're in Northern England, Scotland area, or if you're in Edinburgh...
This is a 5-hour train from London. It's not that bad. You go for the weekend, watch some shows. This is the biggest festival in the world.
It is beautiful, and it's a great festival. Like Sweden, this is the time to be here. I'm looking out of my hotel window, and I can see Arthur's Seat, which is the hike, and it's this sort of park with a mountain range overlooking the entire city, and this big rock wall face. It looks like the coast of England, like Dover or something, only brown, and it's this beautiful. It looks like Arizona. I swear it looks like Arizona, and it's sunny out. It's 70 well, if you're from the UK, it is 21 degrees every day, and it's sunny for most so far. For somehow it's sunny every day.
Beautiful.
So come check me out. What about you, Kirky?
I'm back in New York City next week. I think I get back Thursday. I got a couple things Thursday, and then I got a couple things that weekend at the Grizzly Pear in Manhattan, and that's all I got coming up. Mm-hmm. Bunch more cruises that I don't usually plug. Mm-hmm. That's it, guys. Have a great week. You can do it.